I come from one of the most beautiful countries in the world, a place full of promise and hope, the one place where you can open a business in less than 48 hours. A beacon of growth and empowerment, it has the world's highest representation of women in parliament and one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. Clean cities and an unrivaled world safety record. The land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda, my country, my home.
I'm here at the University of Sussex and I'm doing a master's in climate change and development. It's a one-year course. In life, you're likely to go through a very tough time, but there's always, it's good to be positive also and try to move on and try to live and try to want to become better, go to school. So I have to say that I'm really fortunate to be here, and I was actually able to get a scholarship. So my government is sponsoring me to be here right now, and I think that just also represents some of the new, like the current government is really investing in the youth, especially because I guess they call us the Rwanda Rwanda, which means like the Rwanda for tomorrow. So there's a lot of young people who are being sponsored to go to school, and this is regardless of your ethnicity.
Rwanda is also the place where my life changed forever 22 years ago. I can't show the world what I looked like as a child, but the memories of my childhood are indelible in my mind. Our home was invaded during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. They destroyed everything we owned, but we were lucky to have escaped before they arrived.
I think it was around 2 p.m, right after lunch. We just heard noise, like people screaming. We literally could we could see them through our window. It was like just people screaming, and they had machetes and all sorts of things. Very early in the morning, around around 5, someone knocked. Someone knocks on the door, and when we opened the door, it was actually my dad. So my dad he had 2 guys with him. He had paid them to escort him to get us, and so he's like, so yesterday I actually spent a night in an orphanage. I met some old woman, and she told me that everybody was hiding at the orphanage, so we have to go. And we could hear screams and stuff, and so you didn't know if you're gonna see your parents. And I remember it was because April actually rains a lot. It was like a rainy season, which actually was really good for us, because that's whenever it rained, we would all go outside and shower from basically roof water. How when it rains so we'd all line up, all the kids, and shower outside. And it was it was actually one of the most, we as kids loved it. It was fun. Because they used to say that basically Tutsis have long noses and Hutus have wider noses. So when the soldiers walked in, I would literally try to make my nose big, like try to do this, so that I wanted to be a Hutu, because I knew that there were Tutsis were being chased.
Eyes of brown, searching around for the next to die. Eyes of brown, peering the ground for a Tutsi asking, why? Eyes of brown, clinking a sound, machetes raised high.
And it didn't even take, I would say, not even 5 minutes. They're like, it's like, do you live here? Then he's like, yeah. It's like, are you? Then he's like, I'm an orphan here. But they didn't even give him the time to explain. They just shot him, And I remember the guy who shot him goes, okay, bye children. It was nice to see you. We'll come back visit. Yeah.
Eyes of brown, making the Hutu name renowned, saying Tutsis turned a blind eye. For eyes of brown, killing was crowned, 1 million lives now denied. Eyes of brown now surround the lives they had denied.
We lost in 1994, 1,074,017 victims. And so we have an actual number. It's not 800,000, it's not close to a million. It is 1,074,017 victims. Each one of them had a name. Each one of them had a story. Each one of them had a future, because many were very young. We lost babies, we lost children, we lost mothers who were still very young and raising their families.
So Damas Gisimba is actually Hutu. And I know a lot of people wonder, like, okay, so how come this Hutu man was protecting all these Tutsis? And I guess, you know, it just shows you that also, you can't say that all Hutus, you know, were extremists. And he taught us not to segregate. So he had said that in case the Interahamwe come and they try to, you know, separate, they try to ask who's Hutu, or they ask Hutus to go on the side and Tutsis to go on the side, you know, you're all the same. So in the orphanage, there was no such thing as Hutu or Tutsi, you know. We were just there as children, Rwandan children who would not be divided. What happened was, with the day, you know, they said goodbye to us, they bumped into, it was a young man who worked at the orphanage, and my mom had actually taught him in primary school, because my mom used to be a teacher. He actually told them, you know what, come, I'll show you, I'll hide you, I have a safe place for you to hide. I'm not gonna let you go and get killed. So my parents, along with 5 other adults who also had children at the orphanage, were saved like that. I mean, my mom told us stories like every time it rained and we went outside to take our showers, they would actually all fight to see their children through the window. And so you can imagine what it was like to have 7 adults in this tiny place. I mean, it wasn't obviously comfortable. This was one of the best moments, honestly, the happiest days, you know, of our life, because I remember when we went on the bus with my sisters, we turned around and saw our mom. Our mom was on the bus, so you can imagine how emotional this was. But my mom was scared, you know, because there were 3 buses, and she was scared because our dad was not on our bus. My dad, before the genocide, he was in, actually, it's called PL, Parti Libéral. He was in an opposition party. So he was one of those, he was wanted, and he was on the list of the people who had to be killed. So, and when we were getting on the bus, there were soldiers. So my mom was like, this man is not going to survive this time, you know? So the head, it was a mayor, he knew my dad. And they had met at in a family where both of them were godfathers. So it was like a baptism or something, or some communion in a family. And apparently, so my dad was a godfather, and he was also a godfather of their children. So they had met in a family. So when this guy saw my dad, he was like, oh my God, you're still alive. And the reason why he was so surprised is because on the radio, they had actually mentioned that my dad had been killed. So this guy is like, you know what, these people are under my orders, and let them nobody. If anybody shoots, I will, you know, basically, it's like, you're the one who's going to be in trouble. So RPF is the Rwanda Patriotic Front, and at the time there were the rebels, and these were Rwandans, they were Tutsis who were in exile. So they are the ones who basically came to stop the genocide. Oh my God, it was just like it was very emotional because everybody just started screaming, and obviously everyone was just hugging these soldiers. They were overwhelmed, you know, because it's like, they were like, to be honest, they were like celebrities. It was like a celebrity coming home and everybody is just hugging them. The saddest thing is that, like, my mom has never found her mom, her grandmother, because when they killed her, they threw her in the river. So, you know, she's not even been able to find, you know, the body to actually bury her. One thing that I have to say is that I'm really thankful. So like in my life, I always have to remind myself that, oh my God, like this could have happened, but I'm here, you know. So I've just learned to be thankful, really thankful, and appreciate life, you know, every moment, because, you know, sorry, I'm crying again. Yeah, because it's I think the thing is we take things for granted, you know, as human beings, and people will complain for small things, and, you know, I mean, I do too. It's not like I don't complain about silly things, but I always remind myself that, okay, you know what, you're so much better off, and we could have died. I could have lost my parents. My vision for Rwanda, and really what I envision for my children, is to live in a Rwanda that's, you know, that's safe, and one identity. We keep this Ndunu Nyarwanda, which means that I'm Rwandan, you know, and because I think we're gonna achieve so much more. And
wavugaga kuwirirwa handi ugataha i Rwanda igihe amaraso ameneka igihugu kigakwira imirambo induru imiborogo bikadogera waru